Hello! My name is Rob. This is Cat Rabbit Scale Model Studios. Today is going to be the 5th live for the Kharadon Overlords project. I've currently got the last 2 Thunderers to do, which are surprisingly really nice models. Actually, I didn't think I was going to be too into them. In fact, I hadn't actually planned on painting them at all. But I decided to just, slap a bit on them, and actually really liked it. So these are the last 2 for the squad of 5, and yeah, just gonna do some casual painting and hang out today while trying to get some of these done. I've nearly completed the main body sections already. These guys come together really quickly. Then I've got the arms, some here and here, and then obviously the bases. If you are interested how I'm doing my bases, these little lovely bright green high fantasy style ones, there is a video on my channel now on how I'm actually putting these together. I do think I have some news. I don't think I have some news. So you'll notice that the quality of my lives is a lot better than the quality of my videos. And the problem I have there is because I'm quite useless when it comes to computers and things like that. So I didn't want to invest anything too heavily when I started this. Now I currently use my iPhone 12 to record, which is great, but iPhones like to do something. They record in a .mov file, which is fine, but the software I've got a little Chromebook that I do my editing on. I don't actually have a laptop. It doesn't like MOV files, and I was looking into today. I was chatting to a guy, and he said, I really like your videos. He said, but what resolution is that? Now, the editing software I use outputs to 720p. But what I'm actually having to do at the moment is I have to email sections of my videos to myself so it compresses. Evening, Josh, how are you? And it's obviously the quality is suffering. That's something I've always been quite conscious of, and I think that's why I haven't done any really big complex videos yet, because I would want it to be the best it can be. So I have not done it. However, I was poking around today, and there's a young lad that I work with, and he said to me, you do know you can change your file format. So I can actually get my iPhone to record in MP4 instead of .mov. I need to play around with it, but if that is the case, and I think I've done it, I should be able to put together. They'll take a little bit longer to do because they're a bigger file as well, but I should be able to just get some better quality videos, which is going to be great all round, I think. So yeah, excited about that. Josh, I'm very well, thank you. I have a cup of tea and I'm filled with inspiration and gusto for these guys. So yeah, I'm gonna try and get these done today. The base is done tomorrow, and then I can start on the I think I'm going to build the engine riggers, not the Sky Wardens, which I'm really looking forward to. I really like those little dirigible things they've got with them. I love that. So I'm gonna then start working on the 3 engine riggers, and that'll be the start collecting box kind of done for now. So yeah, super cool. I've actually really enjoyed these Thunderers. As I was saying, originally I wasn't going to paint them up, but I was kind of looking at them and I was like, I quite like them. And when I did the guy with the banner and the little bird, I was like, oh man, it's going to look so good. So I think the way I've done these 5 all with Aphis shot rifles, just purely because I think when they're all garrisoned, in a frigate, it'll be cool just to have a lot of shots coming out of it. And then I will probably pick up another start collecting box, and I will do the alternative builds like the cannon and stuff like that, so I can use pin them, shred them, kiss them, whatever it's called. Not quite sure of the actual ability's name, but that's the plan for these guys. So these are just going to be normal ether rifles, and then that way as well I can always kind of smush them into a are you going to get Nick from the truck? And if so, how will you pay it? I would love to get one of those cargo 8 ridge haulers, but I'm not paying £60 for a truck and then £35 for the sections, which is a shame. I do think the Necromunda stuff, the price point is just, it's mental. It's absolutely mental. It's bonkers what they're charging for that stuff. I saw that the Hellamite Rider guy is up for pre-order, and it's a fucking resin piece. I was so frustrated. I thought, oh, they're going to do plastic, you know, because everything's kind of going over to plastic these days, and I was kind of hoping GW had learnt their lesson and everything's going to be plastic, and it's not. It's goddamn shitty resin. So I'm so annoyed at that. Maybe I will pick a Cargo 8 up soon. However, at the moment, I'm well in my element with these. I guess, you know, I'm so disinterested in heresy and things like that, and I just, you know, this is like the polar opposite, and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm kind of not looking at painting at, you know, anything but these guys up until I feel that I want to. I mean, there's only 3 miniatures left in the box, so I am running out of time. But, you know, I mean, just look at them. Look at their llamas. They're fantastic little guys. So, yeah, I think the Necromunda stuff, I was looking at that, the guy on the big flea, he's £44. I thought that was an extortionate price for just a model, considering it's £27 for a box of 3. It's £44 for a hero. I'm sorry, but that's wrong. That's so wrong. Something's gone absolutely bananas there, and it's just the consumer that's paying for it. And I'm really not impressed there, you know. So no, that can be put on a back burner until maybe I've got some the cash. Yeah, same, you know, £180. I'm sorry, it's too much. I've spoke about this at great length, my disappointment for this pricing. Games Workshop really, you know, is going all out with these prices, and I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan for something that should be a hobby. And yeah, I get it's niche and it is expensive and stuff like that. And, you know, like most things though, it's only as expensive as you want it to be. But I find even at a ground basic level, so bloody expensive. Do you know what? I wouldn't even be interested in winning a box of Heresy. That's where I am with it. Give me 40k, give me Age of Sigmar any day, and that's saying something, because I really don't enjoy playing 40k. I think it's a awful game system, so convoluted. It's just not for me. I like the miniatures, and that's it. And I like the idea of having a small army to display. But as for playing, nah, I'm good, thanks. So there we go. So just filling in the boots, and then I can give all these sections a wash. Once this has got a wash, I can actually start doing things like the backpacks and that. You see, AOS and Warcry, great fun. You know, but they say that, you know, even AOS at the moment seems to fall victim to these seasons of war and stuff like that, and it's too much. I can't keep up with it all. It's too much. You know, they've tried to be really thorough with the rules, and all they've done is they've just made lots of more loopholes further on by trying to overcomplicate everything, because people can't work out, you know, they're finding all these little like, oh, well, it doesn't say and here, so I can do it. And, you know, and the rules have gone from like 4 pages to like 48 pages. And I think, how does a game do that? It's crazy, absolutely crazy. I think, in all honesty, Necromunda does it right, because it's not like the rules ever change, but they expand, which is great. Okay, there might need to be a little bit of clarification later on with some bits here and there, but I think with Necromunda it's spot on, because they're not always changing every edition, they're just expanding upon them. They're doing expansions as opposed to new games, which I'm a big fan of. I think that's cool. It very much harkens back to the day of like Outlanders and stuff like that, which is, you know, what I think, you know, is really cool. So that's just me. Yes, most competitive games, unfortunately, I find people like Tabletop Tactics, although, like, you know, I mean, I'm not a competitive person. I know they're very endearing to a lot of people. To myself, couldn't really care less about stuff like that. But I know they had some input for 9th edition, especially for 40k. And in my eyes, they've catered it to how they want it, not how, you know, the mass market wants. And it's a shame, because, you know, when GW had its best year ever during COVID, it was because the people playing at home, it was your casual gamer, and they seem to cater for the competitive scene, but they don't realise that in actual fact their biggest market came from people that play at home, and that's what gave them their best year ever. You know, that's just fact. I'm sorry, the numbers don't lie there. See, and that's it. I think clear, you know, rules. Let's not overbog it. Let's not overcomplicate it. Let's just, you know. But they don't. And it's such a shame, because it could be such a fantastic... I love the Games Workshop miniatures. You know, I like the factions. I think all of them quite aesthetically great in their own way. However, I do have big gripes with the game system, which is a shame, really. But, you know, that's just my 2 cents. Other people might feel incredibly different, and do you know what? That's perfectly, you know, cool. It's each person is gonna get what they want out of it in a different way, and if you like it, do you know what? Good for you. Play it. This is just how it makes me feel. So there we go. So let's do. Put the blue back in. Around the neck. I always forget to do this little neck piece here. It's so frustrating. I'm like, yeah, that's it. Boots are always the last thing to do. And like, I've done it 3 times before this. And I'm like, oh yeah, I've got to do these little neck bits here where their masks connect. I actually really enjoy painting the little helmets. At first I wasn't sure. And I was looking at some of the other Dwarven kits to see if I could make some helmetless guys. But I think it's a little bit of work that's involved to make them fit, and I was like, oh, I'll just paint them then. But in actual fact, once you do your first couple of ones, I actually really like how these guys look. I think they're quite charming, actually. So it's just a case of just working my way through everything, and just making sure it's nice. You don't have to go right up to the edges. I never do, but the yes, I know on the rules and stuff like that. And there's been a few times early on that I needed clarification, but I mean, we're talking about 4 years ago now. It must have been that I actually messaged on the Facebook group and said, can someone help me understand this a little bit better? I think it was when they changed Gordrak's War Scrolls. I didn't quite understand how he worked after that, which is a shame, because he's such a cool miniature. One of my favourite miniatures ever, Gordrak on the Maw Crusher. Okay, so I'm quite happy with how that is. It all looks quite neat. If you need help with a color scheme, then well, let's add that to a topic of talk. What did you have in mind? Like, did you have anything floating around? Is it going to be to tie in with a faction that already has colors, or you know, what are you thinking? What are you leaning towards yourself more than anything? Right, the heads. I got to admit, I do like the I like the thing. I like the goblin blimp thing with the like it's like an inflated, I don't know, like squig thing that he's on. And this is another reason why I love the red grass hobby handle. Like this stuff, this is the first I've been sponsored by Red Grass for a year now. This was the first batch of their little gum stuff that I use, and it's still so sticky. I can literally just put heads in here like that, and it just, I've never topped it up or anything like that. I've never added water or done anything to it. It's caked in. I mean, you can see I spray models on here and stuff. Absolutely caked. And I have, I mean, there's like a stick of it there. I've got another 2 packs of this somewhere. This gum stuff, it's fucking amazing. Like, if anybody wants anything like even second to just like blue tack, if you use blue tack or anything, do you know what? Take a punt, get yourself a hobby handle. Even if you don't like the handle, the gum is worth its weight in gold. It's so good. It stays so sticky for so long. It's so good. So definitely do it. Yes, the big fry. That's it. Yeah, it's got like a big inflatable fry. It's so cool. I love that. If it's going to be like its own thing, then do you know what? Why don't you just keep it quite natural and then just add like splashes of color? Like I said, it helps if you've got a scheme in mind, but also at the same time, it's because it's a blank canvas. I think sometimes it's just, you know, where the model takes you. I always say this to people, and I don't know whether they kind of look at me funny. I think, oh my god, he's so weird. Sometimes you just got to let the model speak to you. Like, I didn't quite know where I was going some bits, especially on the gun hauler, you know, but you kind of do it, you sit back and you go like, oh, actually, I need something a little bit brighter just here. And you kind of tie those bits in and you just let the model kind of tell you where the colours go. I think is, you know, sometimes it just needs to do. And I think that's it, you know. I would say pick a point on that model you really like. So like maybe the blimp section, pick something that you really like, and then just be like, right, I want this blimp section red and yellow stripes, and then you soon know like whether you know you got the guy off of it underneath it or whatever. You go, well, in actual fact that's really bright, so I could do something a bit darker to tie it all in and maybe put a focal point and stuff. Sometimes you just got to let the mini just do the talking for you. So that's what I say anyway. Whether that makes me sound a bit crazy, I don't know. But definitely let the mini do the talking. But yeah, I once again, I love these guys. The little face, you know, they've got little eyebrows. I find it hilarious. Like they've got little eyebrows on their head, which is just it's just amazing. I really have fallen greatly over the charm of these Kharadon models. I think they've got a lot of character. You know, these little metal dwarven guys. I really like them. So yeah, at first I wasn't sure, and then I kind of really liked them. And for ages I was like, oh, I'm going to get me some of them. I never got around to doing it. And I thought, yeah, do you know what? I'm going to treat myself. I'm going to pick up some Kharadon Overlords, and I've just really enjoyed it since then. So I do hope everyone's enjoying the titles for these lives. It amuses me greatly to come up with these. Obviously, Electric Boogaloo. I think this one was also quite amusing, which was the Return to Kharadon High. You know, the next generation. There's some great ones coming up. And yeah, I actually really enjoy. I think, do I enjoy lives more than videos? I think I enjoy the videos, but I think in my mind, that conscious of going, I do know the quality suffered a little bit here, and you know, am I getting across what I want to get across, because I know the quality's, you know, maybe not as good as what I want. I think once I get the quality situation of the videos sorted out, I'm gonna really enjoy the videos, and obviously it will kind of encourage me to do more as well with them. Also learning the software, which has been fun, but it has been testing sometimes. However, I have really enjoyed doing it and chatting to people and stuff. But I like the lives. I like doing. You can see how, you know, how I work in real time, and that I think there's something to be said to seeing how someone paints, or you know, how they work, you know, in real time. So there's my little metal beards. I've just got a touch in the blue cheeks. Yes, I love the Kharadons. I said I can't wait to get more. I can't wait to get a ship. I think I'm definitely going to treat myself to a frigate next, and I definitely want a dude in a dirigible suit, the engine master. Definitely, I think he's high on my list of things that I really want from these guys. The engine master in dirigible suit. I like the Barrett Grunderson guy. I don't know his name. Brock Grunderson or something his name is. However, I wasn't too enamored with his rules. And obviously I want the engine riggers as battle line, because they're going to save me a hell of a lot of time and effort by having those. And then I can always just play Barrack Urbaz, which puts my my gun haulers as battle line as well. So I've got little ways of doing it. I've been doing my research with these guys. I think I said in the last one, I will pick up the codex, but I won't just yet. Just purely because I know my luck. You know, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm going to get the codex, and then, you know, like a week later they're like, oh, pre-order the Kharadon codex. I'll be like, oh shit, and I just don't want to waste the money or anything like that. So I'll wait. I'll play the waiting game. I probably won't pick up the new codex until they announce one, or you know, I'll wait for that one. I do hope they get some new models. Maybe it's quite a small range, the Kharadons. And everyone does seem to be getting a new hero or a unit or something with the New Aegis Sigma releases and that. So, you know, there's hope that there's something new on the horizon. Maybe some endless spells or some scenery, you know. If not, I think that would be quite cool. I like the faction specific scenery. I've always really liked that. However, I do have an issue with it, is that it doesn't match. Like, you couldn't have faction-specific scenery on the table and create, like, a cohesive environment. Because, like, you'd have a Dwarven Forge next to a shipwreck, next to an altar of corn, next to a, you know, a Skaven warp holes. It just doesn't... Nothing matches. That's my gripe with it. I wish they would do just a generic castle set that you can just really customize it. And I do believe that they should do little upgrade sprues and bits and things like that for every faction. You know, I would love to see just some, like, I don't know, supply boxes and just spare guns that you could use to mount on your ships and stuff, just to jazz them up a little bit, you know, stuff like that. You know, the Kharadon Overlords, some deep sea creatures that you could stick to the base and, you know, just, you know, use to jazz up your Idenef, and, you know, Gloom Spikes. We could do like some mushroom packs. You know, there's a lot of possibilities there that I always feel that they missed the boat on. I did pick up, and actually I didn't pick it up, I actually got given it. I really lucked out on it's an old basing set. I don't know whether I've got it near me. I think I have. I think it's in the drawer. But it's got like some iconography. It comes with some little stones and things. Yeah, I think it's quite old, but I've got it all. It's completely untouched. Nothing's been punched out or anything like that. You know, I think that would be a great way to... What way to encourage people to do an army and to customize it to make it their own and stuff like that. It would also encourage people to buy that model to make that conversion. Like, oh, I want a gun hauler, but I want it just like as an arms carrier. So you know, buy one just to butcher, or as opposed to buying one to paint and use my army, because it would encourage me to do that project. So it's a shame that they don't do that, I find. But you know, I'm sure stuff like that has been spoken about, whether there's much demand for it, whether they're just like, nah, if you want that, do it yourself. But I would thought it would be a great way to capitalise the market to, you know, have this type of stuff. But once again, what do I know? I'm just a consumer. So there we go. In actual fact, I'm going to tell you a story of the Warhammer social team. Now, I was speaking to a gentleman. I'm not gonna name names or anything like that. Way back in November last year, about joining the Warhammer community social team, and it's all very like hush hush, secret squirrel, blah blah blah, fine. And he turned around and he said to me, "See, this is where, just quickly before I go on with the story, Games Workshop could actually dominate some of the market here by making official STL files that you could print off yourself, and you just buy the file and do it that way, because people are still going to want to own this stuff. You know, I don't think there'll ever be a time where they'll just be like, oh no, but you know, you could print one for your mate. Yeah, I probably could, but at the same time, you just pay for the file, or you life the file or something. So you know, you've got, I don't know, like renting an old movie. So you kind of have to, I don't know, get them printed within a week or something, or you buy it and it's a one-time use thing, you know, file or something like that. I'm sure there's technology out there that could do that, but once again, what do I know? But anyway, so, you know, and he was kind of talking to me, and he was like, there's going to be a creator program so everyone can kind of get involved and have the opportunity to get involved. I was like, all right, cool, brilliant, thanks, you know, I'll look out for it, brilliant. It was all very friendly, awesome. And then in, I think about February, I dropped him a message and I said, you know, hi, just checking in, you know, really excited. Can you know, any updates or anything? And he kindly messaged me back and he said, like, no, don't worry, it's been delayed a little bit. You know, it's coming really soon. I was like, brilliant, you know, we're chatting away, it's great, fine. Thought, you know, I'm probably, you know, I'm even for a bit of a good chance to be part of the social team, which was, you know, be fantastic. And then absolutely nothing. The Horus Heresy event rolls around, and now I see all these people kind of being given sets and being taken onto the social team, and I'm like, I wonder if I missed anything. You know, I didn't get an invite to the Heresy event, which isn't surprising. I wouldn't have gone anyway, but that's what we call integrity, kids. I was, you know, I've noticed that there's, you know, been a few people that have, you know, now getting stuff off GW after I was told that they weren't taking any more on. Okay, fine. So I kind of went back to the guy wondering if I'd missed anything. you know, hi, how are you? Just, you know, I've noticed this, you know, new people are going on. Are you not doing the program now? You know, is there a way for me to apply? Blah, blah, blah. Any information would be great. And he's read the messages and he's just completely ignoring me, which is incredibly frustrating, I must say, because it felt like communication was really good at first, and now it's just gone, you know, really, really poorly, which is frustrating. I'm not going to lie. I think being part of the Warhammer social team would be great. Yeah, so do you know what? It's funny you say that, but Miniac has posted a video today. Now, I have a lot to unpack with that, because in that video, and do I like Miniac? I don't know. I think he's very much a YouTube staple. See, not doubting his ability and stuff like that, and an amazing painter, and you know, he can put together an absolute fantastic video. But he does turn around at one point and say, you know, I don't like Space Marines, whatever. And he says, you know, hashtag sorry, not sorry. Okay, that's perfectly fine if that's, you know, how you want to come across. But then later on in the video, he says, I wish people would consider their actions more. But really, you went to an event, really, it was quite self-serving, the reason why you were there, just because you could be, not because you were interested. And then, you know, you got kicked out, and now you're saying to other people they should consider their actions. But really, if you had considered yours, you know, maybe things would be ever so slightly different. That's, I guess, a bit of a hot take on it. I do, once again, I do wish him all the well as an artist and things like that, and he seems like a genuine guy. I don't know how I feel about videos like that. To me, they always feel a little bit disingenuous, even if they're not. But that's just me. You know, is that for the cameras? You'll never really know, because you never know what people are like behind closed doors at the end of the day. So it became quite, you know, and like I said, there was just a few things there that I think people were great in the chat offering support and stuff like that, but nobody I could see really wanted to say anything in the comments that was like, well, you know, you can't tell someone that, you know, hashtag sorry, not sorry, because you got to go to an event all along that was free. But then can you also sit there and say, you know, people should think about their actions and stuff like that when you quite clearly haven't yourself? Maybe that's a little bit out of line on my part, or maybe that's, you know, I'm getting the wrong end of stick there. That's just how it looks to me. Once again, you know, great YouTuber, makes fantastic content, but I do feel like there's something slightly off about that, you know. And that's just where I am with it. But there we go. So where are we? It's in Blythe for 35 minutes already. Okay, well, I think I'm making good progress on these guys. It's just a case of carry on working, and once the arms are on, the backpacks don't take long at all. So, you know what, I actually think I'm making pretty good progress on these guys. I really, really want to get this unit done so I can start them engine riggers. If that's the case, I will probably start them on the Friday hobby hangout here, or maybe if I can't wait, I will start them on Wednesday with the Instagram live that I do with my friend who's in the chat, Josh. So yeah, that's unfortunate, but yeah, it's annoying as well with, you know, GW and stuff. Like, you know, I thought, oh, I'm quite close to maybe, you know, getting on that social media team and stuff like that. I mean, I'm really active on Instagram. The other thing I do find is they predominantly focus their efforts on Twitter, which is odd because there's definitely more Warhammer community on Instagram than there is Twitter, but it seems like you have to be on Twitter to get their attention, which I think's really weird. But I think that's probably just where the guy that runs it's main kind of, you know, platform of choice is. So, you know, you kind of have to be on it. And I got to admit, I don't understand Twitter in the slightest at all. I don't know what you're supposed to do there. Is it just, I think it's like, I think Twitter's quite narcissistic, actually, to some degree. It's just you shouting in a room full of other people who are shouting, hoping, you know, your tweet gets heard more than that other person. I just don't understand Twitter. I think that's why I like Instagram. It's more homely with pictures, you know, which is great. That's what we're here for, the work. So it's nice, because I do notice that people don't really read what you write, especially on social media, if there's a picture attached to it. I've done this a few times with small little experiments, and people never cease to amaze me with how quickly they are to jump the gun and, you know, get their opinion across. And it does just become a who can shout the loudest, you know, is it my turn to talk? They're not waiting for other people to talk, or they don't care about other people's opinions. They just wait for their turn to talk, which is a shame. But hey ho. Okay, I think that's pretty even. I don't think I've missed anything, although I did forget to pre-highlight the trousers, but we'll tidy that up in a minute. So we're looking good. We need to let these shades dry a bit more. I do have the fan on gently, so I'm just going to pop these here. Yeah, once again, Twitter to me it's just really strange. Maybe I just don't get it. I don't get it. It's just people trying to say funny stuff, hoping it gets loads of reshares. I don't get it. But it does seem like a large portion of the hobby community is, or like the people that govern it, are on Twitter. So, you know, if you're not on Twitter, you're in with no chance of kind of being part of that, which is a shame, because there's a lot of fantastic artists out there that I would love to see on the social team rather than some of the usual faces. To, you know, see what they could do with the work. And I think, you know, I've always been a bit for the people. I always look at the person as opposed to other aspects of it. So I do kind of sit there and I think, oh man, I would love to see that guy. I'd love to see their work, you know, which is what it should be. But in the end, you see the same old usual faces. Half the people get away with being absolutely horrid to people, which I think is really, really out of order. I think there's quite a few people on there that are just horrendous individuals, and I'm sorry. I think GW should look more at what their content creators or the people they endorse are up to, because I don't feel that they represent GW very well, if I'm completely honest with you. No, I think that their communication skills at GW are just shocking to say the least. I can't stress this enough. And people that, you know, I know who are on the social team have said the same thing. They're like, they don't tell me anything. Which is a shame. So, there we go. Right, do I do the backpacks next? If I do the backpacks, I can actually get them attached, which is probably better. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave the arms till last. Let's get a coat of silver just on the back. What you don't realise these models is that I've painted hardly any of it. It's just all silver and washes. And this is a credit to, you know, things like Agrex Earthshade. It's such a good wash. It just really brings models to life and it's just so much legwork for you. I can't understand people that, like, you know, maybe haven't used washes before, like through fear. I just think that they're so easy to do, and they just lift, you know, a piece into just absolutely fantastic. I can't say enough good things about washes and inks and stuff like that. They really have the power to bring a model up standard very, very easily. And they just, you know, I think it's the fear, especially with the older lot. You see a lot of the older generation, because they never had washers, you know, that don't use them. And I always just think, just grab a wash, man. Grab some non-oil, slap it on. Don't worry about it. Okay, so let's let the backs just dry for a minute. I don't know what that is. Looks like a Glade air freshener. I would love to know the hygiene standards of, you know, some of these models. Like, do they have toilet attendants? I would love a model that just like represents a really mundane job in society. You know, like, I don't know, a Kharadon postman. And instead of a gun hauler, he's just like got a little Royal Mail van with wings. That'd be hilarious. But you never get the fun stuff like that. I've got the Joseph Bugman. It was given by my friend, Mini Skills UK, and Big Cat Enthusiast as well. Lovely guy. He gave me the Joseph Bugman, who's kind of leaning on some barrels having a drink. I think I might actually have a look at him right now while we're waiting for those to dry. He's literally still in his sealed little packet. There he is, little Joseph Bugman from 2002. He's 10 years old, this model. Dang. I think that's really cool. He's got like a little pipe and that, and you know, what a cool little mini. But you know, I can't bring myself to paint him. I'd love to, but I just can't bring myself to do it. It's a slice of history there, even if it is unfortunate fine cast, which is a bit of a shame. Do you know what? See, that's what I'm saying. If you had little upgrade sprues or stuff, then maybe I could, you know, do some customization. I would love to do this project and then to build a little skyport, and then actually have, like, if I've got 500s, and you know, you would have like some dwellings that would hold 5 people, and actually have like almost like a 2x2 skirmish board, just made up of like the center of a skyport. Like, how amazing would that be? That'd be absolutely so cool. And just like, where is it, in the cloud somewhere? You could do like a little harbour section and stuff. It would be so good. I think if I had the right tools to do it, it's something I would definitely look into. I love making those little slices of, you know, land for pictures and stuff like that. So who knows, maybe in the future there'll be some videos. Maybe I'll make my own skyport. Who knows? I think that'd be pretty cool, pretty fun. But that is certainly something for another day. I'm not going to get carried away until I've got this start collecting box done. Then I can get carried away. That's the rule. But I do think there's lots of scope to, especially with 3D printing, add lots of little bits, which I think is something definitely that could be on the cards. So super cool. So there we go. But yeah, that's my hot take on a lot of things there. There's some to unpack, but who knows? I like this guy. He's got like a little, oh, it's a little pipe thing. Ah, it's cute. I love the little engine bits. So there we go. But no, I am looking forward to putting together a video now, so people can see. I might have to actually pick up some. I wasn't going to, but I might pick up some Arkanauts and maybe do a painting video on them. I think they'd be really, really quick to put together. I haven't even looked at Arkanauts yet, so there's still some of the range of Kharadons I actually haven't bothered to look at. But I would like to see some more models. I would like to see almost like a bit of a steel golem type thing, which would be a good ground melee unit. Maybe like a unit of 3 or just one big model would be really, really cool. However, I wish, you know, it was more in keeping with the sky thing. But I think, you know, there's more scope to add ships. Maybe some little one-man kind of almost like, I don't know, scuba bike type looking things that could be quite maneuverable. They could be quite cool. I do think they definitely need some more rank and file units, because they've got Sky Warden, Engine Ringers, Arkanauts or Thunderers. That's it. And Sky Wardens and Engine Ringers obviously made from the same kit. There is nothing else. So I would like to see a bit of an expansion on the range, but in a way it helps keep it really simple if it's small. Yeah, do you know what? I didn't know about that box, but I've actually been watching a guy named Aethercast. He does lots of Kharadon videos. He's like a big Kharadon fan, and he was saying about the boxes, and like, you know, if you can get hold of this, it's a great addition, and you know, blah blah blah. Do you know if you can? In actual fact, let's quickly look. Let's quickly look and see if we can still get hold of that box. Let's see if it's on the web store, shall we? Let's go to Games Workshop. Let's go to Home, because it's under Boxed Games. So I wonder if they do any of those faction specific boxes anymore. Boxed Games. Warcry. If we could go to, oh no, we want to go all. Okay, so Dark Elf, Cruel Boys, Slanesh, Daughters of Crane, Lumineth, Thunderstrike, K-Knight, Shadow Stalkers, Splintered Fang, Unseen Beast Unmade, Cypher Lords, Slaughter Priest, Catacombs board pack, Galapalooza, Iron Golems, Spire. Okay, so I don't think so. Some of them are still on there, like the Lumineth ones and that, but the Kharadon ones are not, which is a shame. That would have been quite cool. Let's get rid of that and let's just quickly scroll through. Doors of Cain, Thunderstrike, Lumineth, Shadow Stalkers, Splinter Fang, Untamed Beast, Unmade, Cypher Lords. Then Iron Golems, Spire Tyrants, Scions of the Flame, and the Corvus Cabal are out of stock. So no, it doesn't look like you can get the Kharadon box set anymore, which is, yeah, a bit of a shame. I would have liked to have had a poke around. That seemed like quite good value for money, actually. But hey ho, you know, that's me just taking too long to get into them, really. So no fault of my own. So let's start doing the guns. I'm not going to be too neat with these because I'm just going to base coat with silver. But I think the Kharadon stuff so far, and I know I'm probably only 2 units in, I think they, as models go, they go together really well. Like, a lot of the seam lines are really cleverly hidden and things like that. So, yeah, definitely a very cool range that deserve a bit more love, I think. Much like my beloved ogres. Definitely think they're another faction that they're just too cool for school. Which obviously saying things like too cool for school doesn't make you that cool, I don't think. So maybe that's backfired a little bit. But I do really enjoy these. I'm not going to worry too much about the gloves and that because I'm going to come in with some brown and I know I'm going to splodge, so I might as well just paint the first bit and not worry about the other bits as long as it's all base coated. I actually sprayed these with Runefang Brass, I believe the colour is. Your frost, yeah. Do you know what? You should, man. The frost herd's wicked. That's such a cool scheme. I love that. I would definitely want you to. I would look forward to seeing you paint some more of them up. Obviously, it was a privilege to be able to paint the Myrmidon guy Really enjoyed painting that guy up for you. So yeah, super cool. So let's just get these in. Look at this actual weapon of a brush, this size 2 red grass. I'm never going to stop bragging about this brush. You know, the extra fine, the number 0. You know what? There's other fine ones out there that you could get. Cool, fine. This number 2, I'm not being funny. I abuse this brush, and it's still soft as hell. Holds paint well. It gives a smooth finish. You know, this is a wicked little brush. Everyone should have a red grass size 2 in their hobby arsenal, definitely. It's just an actual weapon of a brush. Like, there's no other way to describe it. However, I do need some more silver. There it is. Good evening, Ricky. How are you today? What are you up to? I did see you'd been working on Dreicher. She's looking fantastic. I can't wait to see what you do with her. Just it's such a great miniature. I really enjoyed painting mine up, and yeah, just super cool. Can't wait to see it. Your work's always so neat. Okay, so that's all the silver blocked in. So we're there with that. Good. So let's go back to these guys now. Yeah, the chariot's cool, man. It's got a real old school vibe to it. I love it. Yeah, I love Dreicher's great. It's such a cool model. It sounds weird, but I like all the little hivey bits. I just thought it's a bit of a painter's dream, that one. There's so much scope to do things with. So let's start with the heads first, and just touch these in. We just want the silver real nice and bright. Oh yeah, these guys are coming together. So let's now move on to the silver here. And we're just going to be careful up to that point there. So there we go. A little, just on their beards. I'm just gonna tickle them, because I keep painting. I keep spending ages painting these little faces, and you can't bloody see them once the guns go on. So I'm not gonna get stung there by doing that again. I'll waste my time, and you know, I kind of want to move along. So this, let's say this is the 5th. Oh god, the dog's going. My 5th hobby hangout. So I've got, it would be 6 miniatures. One of them was quite big though, so I'm quite impressed with the progress, considering I normally take ages to paint most things until I'm in the zone with them. I've really enjoyed doing these guys, and it's nice to be able to follow and kind of, you know, see the progress. But also, when I finish one of the models on stream, it's quite good, because you know, everyone gets to see it, and it's definitely, it's quite rewarding. So all I'm doing is just tickling these little bits in. I'm not going to spend ages on their boots and that, because they tend to be in the grass, so you don't really see them. So yeah, okay, that's quite smooth and bright. Yeah, do you know what? I would have thought that the Beast of Chaos would have been right at the forefront of, you know, third edition. And it feels really weird. Maybe they're building to something big, you know, is my hope. Because it's a great faction. I think the Bulgors are great models. Obviously, Ungors, pretty iconic. They've been around for years. I like the Gorgons and stuff like that. So it's, you know, you've got, you know, Beasts of Bloody Chaos, you know, the clue's in the title. And it just, they haven't done anything with them, which is a bit of a shame. You know, I think the last thing they got was that scenery piece, that Herdstone was the last new thing they got of, well, anything really. Which is a bit of a shame. Like I said, it's such a good faction. Lots of cool. But then, you know, I mean, it could just be that they just add loads of Zangors and, you know, that's it. Job done. Because I know you really love them, Josh. I know you're a big Zangor enthusiast. Who wouldn't be? Let's face it, fantastic models. But yeah, I do think that they're definitely a faction that needs a bit more love than maybe some of the other ones. Like I'd love to see a really big range refresh for them. I just wish they would get rid of, you know, fine cast models for all factions and, you know, redo some of them, because I think there's a lot of models out there that could just do with a bit of spicing up. And I think with what they can do now with the models, it would be great to see some of them old ones reimagined. And, you know, I know they hold a place in a lot of people's heart. I get that. But I also understand that people are always going to complain no matter what. You know, even now, people are moaning about Plastic Heresy models. Yet all they did was moan about Forge World ones for years. And it's like, well, what do you want? You know, as soon as you start giving in to complainers and stuff like that is when you start, to me, you're catering to the wrong people. And that's, you know, but I would love to see the Beast of Chaos get some real good and be a big force, you know, a big hard-hitting force. I think that would be really cool to see. But time will tell if that's going to happen. None of us really know what is in the pipeline, which is a shame. But hey ho. So let's brighten up their little blue stripe. I only gave them this little blue stripe because I wanted to give them a little bit of visual flair. I also wanted to incorporate the blue of the ships. Obviously, Barrack Himmel being sky. I wanted to incorporate, you know, a real deep blue colour into them. It's annoying because you once the helmet's actually stuck on, you don't see a lot of this. But I know it's there, so I can sleep well at night. I'm not going to highlight the edges because there's no fucking point. But a couple of little stripy dudes there. I think that's quite cool. Quite chuffed with that. You know, the bodies come together really, really quickly. I'm pretty confident I could bang out. If I sat down from start to finish, completely undisturbed, I reckon I could bang out a unit of these in a day. Like, that's how confident I am with this scheme. It's quick. There's not much to it, but you can jazz it up to make it look, you know, a little bit special. So that's where we are with that. Now, we want Retributor armor because we're going to tidy up the gold. No, we're not. Yes, we are. Are we? Yeah, we are. Fuck it. Let's tidy up the gold, because then that really will be all I need to do on the body sections here. I started to watch last night, and I don't know if anyone's seen it, The Witcher Season 2. I actually watched the first season. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Funny enough, I couldn't get into the Witcher game. It was just a bit too big for me, so I didn't. I never got into it, but I did enjoy the show very much, and I started watching Season 2 last night, which I was quite impressed, actually. I like that first story. I felt bad for his little mate, but also at the same time, you know, So has anyone else seen that? I know, you know, a lot of people are avid fantasy fans and things like that. But have you seen The Witcher Series 2? Anyone? Is it good? Is it worthy successor of the great first series? Because I thought the first series was very good actually. He's quite a cool character, Geralt. Geralt, whatever his name is. And I think Henry Cavill does him a lot of justice actually. Having said that, I got The Witcher 3 on launch day. I briefly played The Witcher 2 on Xbox 360, and I just couldn't get in it. You know, I really struggled with it, and I think it's because it's when my PS4 was coming out and I borrowed it, and I kind of had my PS4 and I was like, I don't want to play with you anymore, you're old. And I kind of did it that way. So yeah, I think maybe I kind of missed out the games, but I got The Witcher 3 on launch day, and I started to play that card game, and I was like, oh, okay, it's quite cool. And then I was like, oh no, I just want to play the card game. And then it was like, all right, well, you need to do the story. Yeah, but I just want to play the card game. And I started to do it, and I got out of the first area, and then I was like, I want to play the card game. And I just couldn't be bothered with it. It was just too big, and you know, I think I was a bit overwhelmed with it all, and maybe I never gave it the chance it deserves. I tried to sit down a couple of times with it and play it, but I've just never been able to sit down and really give it 110% of my focus, which is. Right, so this guy, that guy's head is the guy with the straps. Okay, just so I know. Yeah, so I don't ever feel that I did it. I know my brother, who never platinums games and things like that, he actually platinumed The Witcher 3. He was like, man, that was amazing. He went for all the DLC and everything. He absolutely fell in love with it. And I was like, damn, you know, it must be good if my brother's going to do it. And yeah, I think I've just... Maybe it's bad timing on my part when I've tried to sit down with it, but I got to admit I do really like the series. I'm looking forward to getting into bed tonight and sticking another episode on. I'll watch them one by one. I won't binge watch them. I did watch all of Stranger Things, so I'm completely caught up with that now, which I thought was really good actually. I can't wait to see how this series ends. I think it's going to be a real good one. But yeah, I put off The Witcher for ages, which is, I don't know why, because Henry Cavill's fit as fuck. So maybe I'll enjoy watching that later. Okay, so there we go. Right. I'm not going to highlight all them straps. There's no point. I don't really care. You're not going to see them once the arms are in the way. So now let's glue the heads on. So I've been doing this for just over an hour now, and I think I've made some really good progress. There's been a lot of ramblings. I've completely drunk. I might have to go and make another cup of tea, you know. But I definitely think I'm on track to getting these done. So let's get the heads on. So you're this guy. You go there. And you're this guy. You go there. So we got two lovely looking little guys now. Look at that, broskies. Let's just dot their eyes with a little bit of red again because the wash has shaded it down a little bit. I like it a little bit brighter. So let's just like that. And like that. And then I think in that one I'm just going to dot some Evil Sun Scarlet, just because it's recessed and it doesn't look as bright as what I'd like. So let's just put, there we go. Okay, you can have a little dot as well. I don't want to leave these guys out. There we go. I won't actually paint in the other eyes and the glow that I've been doing for the eyes until I do the glows on the backpack as well, just because it's done the same way with it's Temple Guard Blue, Baharoth, and then a little dot of Pallid Witch just, you know, in the middle. So right, so these guys are looking good. They're on. I don't know. I fucking love the way these guys look. I can't get over it. It's so cool. Right, you go with Poopy Pants. I keep getting mixing up my bits, so it's are you the guy with the arm section? Yeah, so it's, I think it's this one. Yeah, so this guy, is it? I think you go with you. And then it's, no, that's the Sky Warden guy. Yeah, that's definitely that guy. And then it's, oh, I think it goes like that. Oh God, I think I've made a bit of a boo-boo here. I think this guy goes, is this the extra arm section? God damn gap filling, because now I can't tell. I thought this guy was the additional arm section. Maybe not, maybe it is this guy. Because that's got the tighter, yeah, it is definitely these two. Okay, and they go with the dude with the smarter moustache. Okay, cool. So let's do that guy first. Why not? We're on the home stretch anyway. I probably could put the backpack on now as well, which I think I might do because it's easy enough to just wash everything. So all I do is I add a little bit of brass to this grill type thing, and that's literally the only other colour that I'm adding. Apart from any nozzles there will be, but I'll paint them after so they're nice and bright. But this is all that we need to do here. So there's one. And there is two. I love all the little backpacks. I like how they're all different. That does tickle me, actually. I do wish someone would have like a kettle, because I wouldn't be going to war without a fucking cup of tea, I'll tell you that much now. So should we pop those on now? Let me just check, because I just want to make sure I can still get to everything. So I might have to wash the inside first. Okay, not a problem. Let's just gently push that one there and that one there, and let's stick a wash on the backs. That's where we are. Okay, so I'm just gonna just so it's covered. I can get to the top bits, that's fine. I felt like I need to sneeze for like the last 10 minutes. So I do apologise if my voice sounds a little bit like I've needed a sneeze, and it's just not coming, which is just the worst feeling ever. I've been betrayed by the sneeze. Let's just make sure we've got everything covered. You're not really going to see this side of things. I'm not too worried about splodging or being overly neat with the washes here, because once again, you're not going to see it. But you might just catch a glimpse every now and again for like a thematic shot, and that's what I'm just trying to make sure I've got. Cool, happy days. While that's doing, I can probably do these two gun sections. Night Lord's Blue is the colour. I need, once these bits are painted on, in actual fact, the rest of the model is going to come together really, really quickly, because it is then just the black cable, the metallics on the gun, any little tidy ups, and then the arms get glued on. Also the brown on his gloves. I do his little glovies brown, because, you know, high fantasy, brown gloves. Okay. I gotta admit, at first I wasn't sure, but I'm really glad I went for a dark undersuit. Just purely because not only does it cover really, really well, it's easy to tidy up as well. Being a blue, obviously silver does kind of cover it quite nicely, but it's yeah. Okay, that's the first coat. I'm going to need to do 2 coats of blue. I will still do 2, because I just, the metallic's quite bright underneath, and I do want to make sure that it just, you can't see anything. So with this stage, I'm not worried about being neat or anything like that. I am just sorry, I realise that I'm painting right on the edge of the camera, because you can't see. I always do that. I get more comfortable because I lean my hands against the edge of the table to steady them, and no one can see what I'm actually doing. But then if I do this, you just like, you see my horrible skanky hands. But that's where we are. This is where the chat should be yelling at me, going, "Rob, I can't see what you're doing." But as you're not, I'm assuming you like it. It's so weird, all of you. And there we go. So not worrying about being too neat, because we don't have to. We can just make sure everything's nicely covered. And by the time I've done this last coat on this last arm, the first arm should be ready for its second coat, which is what we like. So there's that, and it's back to this. Perverts, all of you, carry on. Yeah, so sorry, you've just got like a massive thumb there. I'm so sorry. Like I'm always holding miniatures in really, really weird angles just to get comfortable. I have quite steady hands in general, but I did have a bit of a beer on the weekend, and I found for a couple of days when I've had a beer, my hands shake, like they don't feel as steady. So I've got into a habit of resting them on the edge so I can work. But I don't know if you can see that. It's not frozen. My hands are actually really steady, so could have been a brain surgeon, but I just had a lot on that day, so I just didn't. So there we go. And I think I'm gonna, after this, I'm gonna take Watson, the little sausage dog, over for a little walk because it's quite nice. I mean, it's not been hot today. It's only been about 22, 23. And I think I'm gonna jump in the shower and try and cool off a little bit. So yeah, no, do you know what I always say to people? Whatever works for you. If you're comfortable, then your hands are going to be steady. It's when people sit there and they try and do all this and they're like, they're resting their hand against their hand, and it's like, you're crazy, it's going to wear yourself out. So, but you know what, whatever works for you. That's what I always say to people, whatever works for you. But I'm always propped on the edge of the table, I find. It's just comfortable. So, okay, so, I tell you what I do need to do, touch him there. Just because. Let me put these just here. I've just noticed I've missed a little tiny bit of his neck thing there. That's really frustrating. But we got it. There we go. No one will ever know. Okay, let's tidy up the elbow pads, and then we're going to paint in the gloves. I think it's probably the best way of doing it. So let's go back to our first one, and he's got little shoulder things. So let's just put some on there. Like I said, these guys are so small and so low to the ground, you don't see a lot of detail. Like I probably could have got away with not painting a lot of these miniatures, but I can't live my life like that, as you all know. It would drive me mental. I'd be like breaking out into cold sweats and things. So that's what we need to do. So let's paint his shoulder pad thing. And I realise I'm doing it again, but I'm so sorry. So just like that. And then like that. Nice. And now this one. Same again, I can just paint his little gun, his shoulder thing there. And I'm just gonna do that and bring it down to that, because you're not really gonna see that, I think. Neaten up his elbow. So you get into like a little rhythm with these guys. I'm quite good at remembering processes and things like that. I do forget little bits here and there. But I do find that I'm ultimately, once I've done a couple of models, normally once you've done a leader and like a normal troop, I'm well on the way to kind of being like, right, yep, this colour here, this colour here. You do pick up speed with them, which is cool. Which is definitely going to come in handy later as well, as I want to, add certain other units and things. So that's let's just touch it. That's that. Let's do his gloves this side. Oh, look, he's got a little round thing on his glove. Oh, look at that. I love me an extra detail. Right, so there's that one. I gotta admit, I'm painting like an absolute tornado tonight. I really want to get these guys done. Like I said, I've got the Thunderers in a sprue right in front of me. Thunderers, the engine riggers. I'm just so like, just I wanna get cracking on them. But yeah, so I was saying I've been watching a lot of Aethercast, and it's just like a Kharadon Overlords focused like YouTuber, which is really cool. I think he's done some other bits as well, but I think his main jam is like Kharadon's, and he's been like such an amazing source of like information. I find myself just sitting here and putting him on and just listening to him talk, and he'll tell you like, you know, a good way of like adding to your army and starting your army and things you can do if you go certain paths. And it's really kind of like, he doesn't trash anything. He tells you like what can work in each, and that I really like, because it annoys me when, you know, people are like, oh no, don't play that battalion, it's crap, because otherwise you need all of these. Like, he will say, if you want to go down that route, this one's good for you. You know, sometimes he will step in and be like, you know, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that in a tournament scene, but you know, you could certainly do it. And I really like that idea of being quite unbiased, and you can see that Kharadons have really kind of captured his heart, and it's really unbiased, and I really like that. So if you like that type of thing and you like the Kharadons, I like Kharadons, then do go check him out. Really nice, down to earth guy, just chatting about an army that he's obviously very passionate about, which I think is a really, really cool thing. And I like the way that he's built it over, you know, with battalions and battle reports and, you know, all Kharadon focused kind of stuff, because you can see that there's a big passion there, and, you know, he wants to share that knowledge that he's got with other people. So yeah, if you like that type of stuff, Aethercast, super, super, super cool guy. Very knowledgeable, very Kharadon Overlord focused. If anyone is interested, I'll drop a link to his channel in the thing below. If you were interested about any of the Sky Fleets, then by all means check them out. Like I said, really, really cool guy, and has been a massive help to me while making my fleet, and inspiration as well. So big up Aethercast there. So there we go. We're nearly there. We're so nearly there. Once these bits are in, it's only really the gloves and the metallics, and we wash everything, then it can all be glued together. Then I can just come in for the last bits. The glow effect, we're there. Let's get these gloves, because the end is well in sight here for these guys, which I never thought I'd be saying, because I'm always a bit like, do one at a time, and I was, like I said, I want them engine riggers. I want to start cracking on them, because they're just, you know, I think they're such a unique looking model. So I'm just going to paint in his little fingers and things. Things. I'm not actually going to sing, because last time that happened, I ended up getting our live show banned in Europe and Africa. Either that or it's that bloody Ice Cream Man. I don't know. In actual fact, I don't think it was the Ice Cream Man, because he actually plays the jingle of Elvis Presley's "It's Now or Never," and the song that we sounded like was pretty unique. I'm not going to lie. So, I don't know. The Ice Cream Man, like I said, he does Elvis Presley's "It's Now or Never," and that is a completely different tune to what what I showed you. So weird, that song. If you can call it a song, I don't know, man. But it had like 19 views, and it was like, you violated this. I'm like, I'm pretty sure he violated us, because we get more views than that. And it was a bit like, oh dear. But good fun, good laugh. At least we can say we've done it. What's the wildest thing you've did this year? Got banned from Africa and Europe. So, but it did get appealed and put through, which was good. But for that brief moment, oh my God, what a bunch of rebels we are, huh? In actual fact, painting these little hands is the fiddliest part of this model. And I mean, I'm not being funny. I use a medium layer brush for pretty much everything when it comes to these, only switching a few times to different brushes. But this is definitely the fiddliest part of these models. Just making sure all the fingers are nicely coated. Could have been, yeah. It's, I mean, it was just awful. Like, what a weird thing to kind of get striked on and pulled on. It's odd. Surely someone would have looked at that and gone, but then, how would that have got reported? Was someone like, oh my God, I know that song. Sounds just like this, and it's bonkers, unless it's the bots of Instagram picking up on things that just simply aren't there, more than likely. Right. Oh, this guy had that weird orb thing, didn't he? Let's paint the other gloves. Ah, oh, bloody gloves. And then we're going to wash absolutely. Oh no, I need to do the metallics on the gun. Okay. What I should do really is paint the brown in, then tidy up the silver, because I'm going to have to tidy up little bits of this, which really I could avoid if I do it all at the same time, but for some reason I've done it this way. So that's a fault of my own there, which really I can improve on to make this scheme quicker. There's one. Okay, last glove. Okay. Right, there we go. It's just a case, oh God, might need a couple of coats on these. Oh no, that's the one I'm doing, okay. My God, I'm going mental because I'm rushing to get these done. I still need to do the bases, so they're not going to be 100% finished tonight, no matter what I get done, but you know, they're going to be damn near, at least all the models will be complete, which will be quite cool. I always really love seeing a squad of a completed unit. Like, I think there's something to be said incredibly for, you know, a completed unit. I know it just looks so good. It's very inspiring, very driving. Okay. Now this guy has got an Orby thing on his thing, so I might do that gold, I think, before I forget to paint it in, which is this thing here. I don't really know what it is. None of the other guys have this. I think because he builds a variant, it probably is something to do with that, but there and there. Okay. Now I'm not going to do the gold yet because I like to start with the bronze near the handle, and I need to paint these bits black as well. But then they can be glued on, which is good, and the back can be glued on as well. So, oh man, I do wish I had another cup of tea because I am thirsty, and I think I'm getting withdrawal. I'm getting a bit of a headache actually, through lack of tea, which is probably not good. Let's touch in the handles. You don't really see this side, but I know it's there, so I can't live my life like that. So let's do that. Has anyone watched any really good movies lately? I recently watched a couple on Shudder. I really like Shudder. I do like my horror movies. I watched one called Mad God, which is Phil Tippett, which was exceptional stop motion. Couldn't tell you what the fuck happens in it, but it was very visually fever dream ish, which was very cool. And then aside from that, I haven't really watched too much. There was another one, but I can't remember the name. It was also on Shudder. It's kind of like Shadow over Innsmouth vibes, but it was just a bit disappointing. I think if it had a bit of a bigger budget, it could have been very good. You know, it hints at, you know, old great gods and stuff like that, and just it starts off very unsuspecting, which I quite like. I just feel that there probably could have been a bit more done with it, which is a shame, but it was an enjoyable-ish kind of movie. If you're watching all the Star Wars recently, do you have a favourite? Like, what about the new ones? Because I know they did Rogue One, which I never saw. To be fair, I didn't really see any of the new ones either. Was Rogue One any good? I heard it was one of the better ones from the new trilogy, but obviously to what extent, I couldn't tell you. I'm like I said, I grew up with A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. I didn't have any of this new stuff. I remember seeing The Phantom Menace at the cinema with my brother when it came out all them years ago. And at the time, it was, I don't think it was, I mean, it did well at the cinema, but I know Jar Jar Binks was a big point of contention for a lot of fans. And I think it was like, you know, Lucas trying to appease the younger generation, which, you know, times change. You've got to do that. And, you know, I think without that, maybe Star Wars wouldn't have become the big mainstream thing it is now. Top 3: Rogue One, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith. So Rogue One, Attack of the Clones. That's the second prequel movie, isn't it? because it was Phantom Menace, because then it was Revenge of the Sith, was it? Or was it the third one? I can't remember. I know it was something like that. But I couldn't get into them. I thought Ewan McGregor was good and Hayden Christensen was good and stuff like that, but once again, you know, it couldn't hold the torch to The Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi, you know. They were just, those movies growing up were just amazing. You know, what a time to be a kid and have, you know, Star Wars like that. Absolutely brilliant. Okay, so I think all the metallic's done. I'm going to touch in the little flint sections after. I need to paint the black cables just because I find it a little bit difficult to paint in sometimes. And then I can get these stuck together, and you know what, we are making a real good progress. So let's just... let's just do that. So there's that. Attack of Clones is the second Avengers. Yes. I never... do you know what? I can tell you what happens in them. There's so many of them that I get confused with which ones are in which now. But I think I've seen them at least once, the second set of trilogy, but I saw the Force Awakens, I think, which was okay. I didn't like the fact it was, you could see that it was clearly going to be, you know, another trilogy and stuff, and it's a shame that they didn't make it just as a movie, that, you know, because they wanted to make a movie. It's got franchise kind of written all over it, which is a shame, but also at the same time, once again, money, isn't it? There we go. Okay, so now I think I'm in a position, now this is where things get fiddly, because I need to make sure the cables line up with the backpack, so they both have to be stuck on at the same time. So this one, I think, is this guy. Like that. And his backpack, I think, is this one. Oh God, I've dropped it. Okay. So let's just... yeah, and if anything, that giant rodent, Narf, loves money. Okay, so I think that's the wrong backpack. I think he needs that one. Yeah, it is. It's that one there. It's gotta be. And his weapon goes like that. Is he aiming up? I don't know. I need to look at the picture. That doesn't look right to me. So he is... so it's definitely... oh no, wait. He should be this one. He should be this arm. Like this. And he is that one. So that needs to go like there. Okay, cool. So he goes like that. So once again, he's pretty easy to get all the washes on. And if I can't get to it, then do you know what? I'm not going to worry about it because you're probably not going to see it anyway. And he goes on that one. Okay, so let's deal with this guy first, I think, because I don't know. I think I like his face better, so I've got a bit of an affinity with this guy. So the first thing I am going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of super glue just in his arm sockets. Do you know what? I'm actually going to use some of that because there's a bit too much there. And then on here, I'm just going to pop a little bit of adhesive just on the back. A bit there. And a bit there. And all I'm going to do, because this guy, is go like that. And I'm super duper quickly going to pop that like that. Now, normally I put a little bit of super glue on the cable, but I'm not going to worry about that because it lines up pretty good. And that's one thing I like about these models. I don't know if you can see that there. The cable is on the contact point with pretty low fuss. There's a bit of an act to it. You've got to kind of put the backpack on at the same time, but also this is why it pays to test fit. And then this guy, I think he's going to be more like that. And his backpack goes just like there. So that arm needs to come up and he goes like that. And there's our two little guys. Okay, so let's get this guy's backpack on. And then I think I'm going to call it there because, well, these guys are pretty much done. I'm just going to put a wash over the arms. And that's it. I will finish the rest of him off tomorrow, which is really just the base and some little tidy ups. So once again, we're going to put the backpack on pretty firmly there. Okay, now this one might need a little bit just on there because he's just a little bit out of line. But we can just squeeze a bit in there like that and then just pop it together. Hold that for a couple of seconds and that will be good to go. Worst case scenario, I can put a little bit of heat on this and just ease it in. As it is quite a thin bit of plastic. Okay, just like that. So there they are. There's our little guys, which I'm pretty chuffed with. I say I just need to put a wash on the arms and we're laughing. But I think I'm going to let the glue set there. Yeah, that's Thunder of 4 and 5. If you are interested, I will pop on some pictures over on Instagram and I will also do a little YouTube post showing the progress on here as well. Yeah, super cool. So I think what I might do is on Wednesday during the live on Instagram, which is normally 7 o'clock at Free Spires Gaming Group, or you can go onto my Instagram and I'll be live on there, so you'll be able to join that way. I will assemble the engine riggers, and then I will actually start painting them on a Friday. I think is probably the best way of going about that, because then at least I can get the bases ready and I can maybe get them done and stuff like that. What I really should do is get all the bases done first, and then it would save time, because as soon as I complete the model they get stuck on and job done. So yeah, there we go. It's been, blimey, nearly 2 hours, the longest one yet, for number 5, which was Kharadon Overlords, the return to Kharadon High. I do, once again, thanks for everyone for popping in. Josh, commenting, you're absolutely fantastic at keeping in the chat very lively, which is good because it gives me something to talk about. And yeah, I will see you on Instagram on Wednesday. For the YouTube people that are interested, I will be back on Friday at 7 o'clock on here for another hangout, paint, build, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, so I'll take it from there. Thanks for everyone once again. Thanks for the support, obviously, once again on YouTube. If you like this, please do consider liking, commenting. If you are to be so kind, drop a little subscribe. It really helps me out like stupidly, especially in the early days of building YouTube content. Look out for them videos where I hope the quality is going to improve a great deal very soon. Once again, for sticking with it, and just, you know, everyone's kind words of support. So yeah, on that note, I'm going to go for a shower and walk the dog, and I'll see you all next one Friday. So yeah, God bless, take care, and I'll see you all soon.